Hello and welcome to the Be Formless Flow Driven CEO podcast, where we are reshaping life, leadership, business, and investing from the inside out. And today I am welcoming all the way from beautiful Uluwatu in Bali, or Indonesia, I should say, Jaryd Krause. Welcome to the show, Jaryd.
Thanks, B. So excited to be here. Looking
Yeah,
forward
I'm so
to just unpacking a bunch of things.
Me too, me too. And look at you. You are glowing. I have to say, I can
Thank you.
feel those sunny Uluwatu vibes coming through. Beautiful. What's the weather like there right now?
You wouldn't want to be here. It's like just 28 degrees, I guess, sunny. Yeah, it's not nice.
At all. And a big shout out to all the listeners all around the world. A big kind hello to you all, whether you've been to Bali or not. It is a beautiful place in the world, especially Uluwatu. The beaches are absolutely divine there. And how long have you lived there, Jaryd?
I've been here mostly 3 years.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah,
okay. There you
yeah.
go. Because it's quite the startup, scaling, entrepreneur hub these days. There's so many people flocking to Bali because you
Hugely.
can have quite the
Yeah.
lifestyle, which we will get into. So we might as well get into it now because you and I are going to have quite a deep conversation, I feel, and especially around life, leadership, and business. So you're the founder of Buying Online Businesses. And Jaryd, you spent much of your career exploring a question that sits at the intersection of business, wealth, and self-leadership. And that is what happens when we stop chasing every external strategy and start building from the inside out. I'm all about that. And you and I caught up the other week and had quite the chat around, going from that external way of operating to the internal. So I can't wait to get your perspective. As one of the world's leading educators in acquiring online businesses, Jaryd has helped thousands of entrepreneurs buy, grow, and scale profitable digital companies. Yet there was this important inflection point that emerged as he realized that sustainable success wasn't simply about finding better opportunities. It really was about developing the mindset, the values, and the self-awareness to recognize the right ones. And so that insight has ultimately reshaped your approach to business. So today, Jaryd, you combine intuition with disciplined decision-making and turning into what matters before allowing the data to validate the path forward. And your journey reflects a shape shift from seeking external answers to building businesses that are aligned from the inside out. At the heart of your work sits a simple question, and that is what becomes possible when your inner compass leads and your data follows. I'm going to hand it over to you, Jaryd, because you must have come to a point where you were like, this external way of operating is no longer working, or the amount of businesses and entrepreneurs that you've worked with. Yeah, like when did you start to explore all of this?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good question. I guess I'll start with saying that I wouldn't say it did, like the external way didn't work.
Mm,
It worked, but it didn't work for me.
mm. Good point.
And yeah, when I first launched buying online businesses, my main brand and company where we acquire companies for people and then scale them, is that I hired a mentor and followed his method to scale the business. And I built out a massive team. I think I was like their rising star, or I was definitely I was in the top tier of results, and they were publishing my results in the group, and everybody wanted a phone call with me. And I'd built this business based on what he had done and how he built his business and the team that he had and the structure and the business model. And it was just not like, I got so sick. Like I literally got burnt out from
Mm,
working too much. And yeah, I just followed that energy that he had, and it wasn't the right thing for me. And yeah, when you do go and seek like the success in a certain way, you can get it. But is it that what you actually want? Like, I
mm,
think in a lot of the world, people claim success as money
mm.
typically, but like, are you joking? Like, that is not really success to me anyway, like what I consider it. So, I mean, I make money. It's great. We make great money, and I help people make great money, but that's not success to me, really. So
What
you
is
need to
success to you?
success to me is space, is time, freedom. Yeah, absolutely. I want to be able to be where I want to be, when I want to be there, and spend the time with who I want, when I want, and where I want.
Hmm.
That's success to me. The spending
And
more
was
time with the people I love. One of my highest values is, have creating experiences and spending time with the people I love, because the more you create those experiences with the people you love, you get to reminisce them. Like done a lot of travel, solo travel, years and years of it. And I created incredible experiences, stories that a lot of people wouldn't believe of things that I've experienced, but I've done them with people that I likely won't see again. But when you
mm,
do that with people you love, that you close in your life, you get to reminisce those
yeah.
experiences, and the ROI on those experiences becomes infinite, in my opinion.
Mm. I love that. And because it's so funny that you talk about success and then you had a bit of a laugh around money and, it's such a tangible thing. And we think if we have all this money, we're going to be so much more happier. And at the end of the day, it's a transaction. Ultimately, there's nothing that comes out of it. You get this it's almost like a quick dopamine hit if you go and buy yourself something, and then all of a sudden you're back to like, okay, well, what's next? And so I feel like that it's really interesting you talk about, well, you're redefining what success is, because for so long, success, we've all been taught or believed that success equals status, equals money, all of that. And it's taken, and it's a big ego trip as well, if you like, in terms of when
Massive.
you get to that point and you kind of go, oh, actually, I don't feel fulfilled at all. And then you have to almost start to pursue that because there's no other option. I mean, you talk around that you followed a model, like, the best, what do they say? They say model excellence or model a business or a framework if you want to be at the top of your game. And it sounds like you did that and it kind of threw you out the other side. And then you're like, okay, there's got to be something more to this. Was that also the point when you were like, is this success? Because if this is success, this is not what I'm signing up for. Like, or did you like what was that tension point when it started to make you think about everything differently?
That's a good question. I don't think there was an inflection point where it's just like I clicked my fingers and I
Mm,
started thinking things
mm,
differently. I remember being quite young and saying to my mum, I must have been around 14 or 13 or something like that. And I said to my mum, look, I'm so different to other people. Like, I think so differently. And I just felt like alone and like I didn't fit in. And I remember my mum saying, I was like, oh, you're not, you're just like going through a phase. And I realized then that I was very different. But
mm,
then, even being that young and not very mature, it's easy to be malleable and adapt and take on what the world thinks is success. And still sometimes I do it. Like, it's still sometimes when I put myself in an environment, when I used to go back to Australia after like years of travel, I didn't want a house and a big fancy house and a car and all that sort of stuff. And after being in Australia for a year or two, I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy this fancy house and this car and like keep up with the Joneses because of the environment. Even though as strong as my willpower is, it's just the environment definitely plays a role as well.
mm,
Yeah.
mm. Yeah, it's super interesting. Tell us a little bit about then the businesses that you work with. When it comes to your philosophy in terms of, I guess, leading, living, doing business from the inside out. And you said, and it was a good point you called out actually at the start of the pod when you said it's not for everybody. It does, though, feel like for me, we're at this extremely interesting point in time where everything is up for grabs. Like, what does capital mean? What does leadership look like as we go forward? So many things are falling by the wayside, or it's like everything's up in the air and it's like, where is it all going to land? And obviously, AI has made a huge impact this year. Talk us a little bit about the type of businesses and the entrepreneurs that you're working with?
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, sure. So I acquire just online businesses. So anything from media companies are businesses that create media, make money through sponsorships and ads, and sometimes sell on people's products like affiliate revenue and drop shipping and whatnot. If you want to get into that realm, then you also have e-commerce brands. We acquire e-commerce brands. E-commerce brands could be like fulfillment by Amazon. So Amazon businesses or just regular e-commerce brands. You could be selling physical products or digital products. And we also acquire software businesses. So all recurring revenue model businesses. A lot of them are software, but you can have recurring revenue businesses that can be educational or entertainment types of businesses. Yeah, they're the main types of businesses I acquire. I normally
Uh-huh.
work with people that have anywhere from 100 to 500 or 100 to a mil, 100K to a mil. And we go away and get finance and link up with lawyers. And I go to the search, find the businesses, and then we scale them.
And then so on that, right? Like, do you see like these type of entrepreneurs or these owners? Do you see something in them where they're almost like, are they, if we come back to this external versus internal, do you notice anything in these entrepreneurs or these businesses where you're like, oh, they're on the journey themselves, where they're kind of looking at what everything, I guess, getting a perspective of not, you know what I mean, going on a journey to explore more, or is it ultimately that they just are selling? Like, you obviously do a lot of M&As, etc. Where I'm just trying to understand the psychology of a lot of these businesses, and are you noticing like almost a trend, or is there a theme around all of this when it comes to values, fulfillment, being aligned from the inside out? Or is it sometimes just a standard deal and that's it? What are you
Yeah,
seeing amongst
it
it?
varies. It varies. Some people are retiring and
Okay.
selling. And then you have other people that are like, I'm so tied to this business and I want to replace myself and I want to spend more time with my family and do different things. Or then you have the other bucket of people like, I built this to where it can go and I can't take it any further. And they're still on the work mode. So they want to exit and then build something else. So everybody's very different. My clients are people that are not acquiring an asset to get mega wealthy. Like, it's not my brand. Like, I help people build wealth and create great amount of wealth, but they're not doing it for that. They're doing it because they want to get out of their job so they can spend more time doing what they love with the people they love.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
I love that. And I guess that was probably what I was trying to pull out because maybe I wasn't
Mm.
making sense with my question. How did you frame your business model up in that way to be very clear that they're not, these are the type of people I work with versus anyone? And where I'm going again with this is that it's a different mindset. It's a different philosophy. And I feel like this is the way forward when it comes to business in totality. I think that we're going to see a lot more of this way of operating these sorts of relationships as we go forward. You had this super successful model, then you decide, you're gonna do things differently. What
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, it's well, the successful model was successful for a while, and then my Facebook ad account got banned and I got it reinstated and my ads were no longer working. So I wasn't running very profitable ads. So I had to let some team go. And I was forced by the environment to change the business model. The business model is more organic and I guess it's like the way it's evolved, right? As I've evolved, and to say whether it's maybe it's good for me, but it might not be good for somebody else. But I've evolved from needing money to not needing money, and when I needed money, I would do anything it took to get
yes,
myself out of the plumbing job, right? So I would take on the client that I didn't really want to take on. I would do the work that I didn't really want to do, and I built the business that just needed to be built that could get me the money because that was my goal at the start is just money so I can, get out of this job. And then when I started making money, then I was able to change my brand to be like attracting versus like chasing.
extracting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting you say that. I was talking to someone earlier and we were talking about efforting versus effortless, and exactly what you're talking about, attracting versus pushing.
Chasing. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a hard one, right? Because at the end of the day, you've got to live, and we need money to be able to live. There's also this part of for me where it's the more you push, the more you try, the more you are desperate in a way, and I've got to hit this target, I've got to do this. There's something that almost universally just puts a block or a blocker in place, and it's only when you surrender and let go that it's like things just start to flow in a way that it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, well that's the answer here. And you talk around, the ability to your philosophies around tuning in versus seeking that external advice and strategies. It's the same with this, like in terms of, and this applies to business, leadership, everything. Do you agree? Or
Absolutely. Like the way I liken this in a good analogy is the dating realm and scene and relationships is that like how unattractive is a guy coming up and like being needy and wanting your number? Like so unattractive, right? Like it's like you don't wanna be a part of it, and that person needs to work out, like, they're chasing, they're trying to get what they want, but it's in a forceful way. What that person needs to do is stop for a second and look at the environment. It's like, "Hang on, actually, what does this woman want? Oh, she wants a," and work it out and be realistic and be grounded in your approach. You're like, "Okay, she wants a great man. What is a great man? Okay, cool, like, I need to become this man that is going to be attractive to her. So then work out how to do that and be attractive. And it's the same with business as well. Is like you could be forcing and pushing sales on people and trying to make money, but the minute that you stop doing that and you know who you want to work with and you know who you don't want to work with and you don't need to take the money and you don't need to make things work just because you're desperate and need the money, like the universe knows that energy, right? You're like good, you're solid within yourself. You don't need something. You're happy to get it when it comes, but you don't need it. So you're in that attraction energy, right? And that's, like for me, I'm lucky because I've worked on this, yes, of course, but I'm also in a unique position where I can tell people like, let's not work together for a year or two. You go away and do your thing. And like, I don't want to work with them. And that's so attractive for somebody to be like, I really need to work with this guy, like it's a unique position, and it's the same with marketing as well. Like it's through everything that you do, you can tell. Like it's the same with ads. Like if you just look in a business model, somebody that's running ads, they're chasing money, right? They're trying to make money. But if you build a brand where you don't have to run ads and you have organic reach, right, through all of the channels or just one of the channels, like people are going to discover you and come to you. You're attracting, right? The way I
mm,
think about it is there's the great book called Your Life, Your Legacy by Roger Hamilton.
okay, I'll
And he
read it.
talks about the building a garden.
Yeah.
So if your goal is to get butterflies, why you could go around with a butterfly net and chase all these butterflies. Or what you could do is you'd be like, how do I become super attractive to butterflies? I can build okay, I'm gonna work out how I can build a garden that has all the flora and the fauna and brings the birds and the bees and the butterflies to me. So why don't we just build our garden and learn how to build our garden? And the garden that we build should be a one that like not what somebody else has built. And we're like, okay, I want to carbon copy that garden because I want the butterflies to come to mine as well. Is like, hang on, what sort of butterflies do you actually want
Mm,
that you want to attract and make it yours? Like, don't just like you can take parts of some people's
yeah.
garden, like, I like that, but I don't like that. Because for me personally, a lot of things that billionaires say, I'm like, dude, you have a mental health problem. Like, why are you
Agree.
still working? Like, I don't agree with your values.
No, I agree. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's an interesting one because I love the whole analogy around build your garden, and there's so much noise out there that's like you should be doing it this way. You've got this wrong, you've got that wrong, and if you do it this way, this is the magic secret or the magic formula. It's going to get you X amount of dollars, and your business is going to like thrive in the next 12 months. And yet, it can be completely misaligned to who you actually are. And so for
absolutely.
me, I've had to go through that whole experience myself and realize that, oh my gosh, the more I surrender, the more I just actually listen to I'm being told, is when, that's that intuition piece, that's that inner knowledge, it's that the strategy sits within you. And so you think you might have to be doing it this way, but actually, like you say, if you create your own, it becomes completely effortless.
Mhm.
And you might actually land somewhere very different. Your business model, exactly who you are, might land very differently to what you anticipated from the outset. I guess my question though is why do we still, it's a deep one,
Yeah, good. I like it.
why do we completely still just ignore it half the time? Like I did for so long. It was my ego. It was just like, no, like just got to do it this way, got to go hard, you got to like just about killed myself when I burnt out.
Mm.
And society at large, we do. And yet there's this potential massive opportunity in the world for businesses, for leaders to be so much more happier. Like you talk about, this is where we could really redefine what success looks like. But why do we continue to do it in the way that we do it? That's my
Yeah, it's
biggest thing. It keeps me awake all the time.
I believe the answer is it depends, and it depends on who you are and where you are in the world. But why do we continue to slip into that route of following somebody else's
Mm,
path? Is the environment that we're in. Like, we are the average of the 5 people we hang around most or
mm,
consume most. Like, we understand that environment is stronger than willpower.
mm,
And so when we're around certain people, we like our energies are vibrating and start to align because we're starting to move at the same pace. And what we wear off on them and they wear off on us
yeah,
just due to radiation, like, basically.
mm,
And so it's easy for us to not tune in because our energy is like in the environment versus in our own environment, right? Which is why meditation and self reflection, all these things are so good, like not consuming too much content and working it out yourself and using your own brain and your own, not just your brain, but your intuition and your internal guidance system,
mm.
so much more valuable because you're going to attract the things that are right for you versus like start moving in that direction. There's so many reasons though. It's like, yes, environment, but the environment isn't just like where you live. It's like where your eyes, your ears, and your mouth live as well, right? Like social media and different group chats and like this digital environments too.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. You talk a lot about tuning in. Like, do you have like a daily kind of ritual in terms of how do you tune in? And again, the reason I ask is because quite often we'll wake up and we get into this kind of mundane routine where it's like check your emails or you need to go straight to your phone because you're looking for like, oh my God, what's happening here? You're almost tuning out, and before you're tuning in, you wake up and you might be somewhat tuned in, and then all of a sudden, within seconds, you've tuned yourself out. I'm a big believer in this whole piece around powering up your day, so that like, what are you doing to allow yourself to kickstart your day in the environment within and externally where you do have the ability to be able to let intuition guide a lot of how your day pans out. There's a lot of conversations that I have around, like the question mark around intuition versus rational pragmatic and the data, for example. I truly believe intuition plays a critical and a huge role in how we go about our day, how we go about our business, how we go about being leaders. Do you have like a ritual that enables you to wake up, stay tuned in, and then take on your day? Like you just said to me pre-show that you had a 5 a.m. call this morning. So do you get up extra early to be disciplined in order to stay tuned in? You're smiling at me. Or do you guys, or in those situations where you're like, man, I'm tuned out. I've got to do after the meeting, I've got to tune myself in.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great question. I don't, I've done the whole 5 a.m. wake ups and the shout from the top of a mountain, affirmations, incantations, dancing, pump myself up, all the things for years. But yeah, my life is so different now. That 5 a.m. call is one every 2 or 3 years. Like, I'm so not into those, and I don't wake up and do something. And it's not structured. I know there's a few things that are the most important things that I need to do for myself in my life. And one of them is meditation. One of them is surfing. And those, I know that what fills my cup, right? There's certain things that fill my cup, and the more my cup full is, the happier I am. And the happier I am, the better vibration I'm in, and the more I can attract what I want without me consciously going, I want this thing. The right thing can come. I don't even have goals, right? I think goals are a limiting
Yeah.
belief because they're made up in your mind versus like, is that something you thought of or you made it up in your mind or you got it from somewhere else? Can you just not even need goals? And work out like, oh, yes, I like this or I don't like this. And yes, I'll go down this path and I won't go down this path. It can be that simple. But it depends on how woo and spiritual you want to get. But I have a specific meditation that I've been doing for 6 years, and then added a couple of other meditations on top of that that allows me to ask and draw inspiration from different fragments of my psyche to get lessons of like, okay, I'm more like this and I don't like these things and I do like these things and I should do it this way and not do it that way. Like I'm questioning so many things based on how things feel for me.
I love that.
And it's not about, yeah, like a ritual or a structure or something like
Yeah, no,
that.
I like it, and I purposely asked that question, by the way, because I wanted to see what what shows up for you in that regard. Because I think sometimes we can get too like tuning in. We have to have all these different structures to like. I do believe in that. There's an ability to power up, and it probably sounds too forceful. The power up language. It's just for me. It's like, what are you doing in your morning to start your day in the best possible way? What's filling your cup up? Mine's getting up, cuddling my little puppy and taking him to go get coffee. It's like our thing,
That's a
right? And
natural way to power up. Like,
yeah, like
and the
he's totally,
meditation can be like,
yeah,
literally, sometimes I feel like I've just plugged myself into the wall after a meditation. I'm like, that was better than an 8 hour sleep,
yeah, yeah.
sometimes, not every single time I meditate, but yeah.
No, I meditate at night, and I've just started getting back into it because I've done pranic healing, and my teacher was, darling, you need to be practicing, and I've been doing Twin Hearts. So I don't know if you've heard of Twin Hearts meditation. It's very cool, and it's almost like I can feel the energy within my hands as I'm doing it. And it's about you. It's about the people you love. It's about business, it's about the planet, it's everything. Can I come out of that? And it's an energizing type of meditation. I come away from that feeling like, I don't know, I just feel completely different. And it's just something that I need to do more of. But the minute it comes back to your thing around goals, and I absolutely love that. And I want to call that out again just quickly because it relates to this conversation now, is that, you call goals being a limiting belief. So the minute I start putting a structure on, I need to meditate at this time every single day,
Mhm.
I can feel myself almost tuning out of it because it's like, oh, you're just putting another load on me. Whereas when I can feel the meditation calling me, like I'll be at night and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm ready now. I want to do this.
Mhm.
There's something
Yeah,
there's something
it's
interesting about wanting versus having to, or being needy, like being made to.
such a good, like, point of view and thing to debate on, I guess, because sometimes the meditations are so much better than others, and sometimes, like for me, I'm not structured with it, but I do make sure that I'm disciplined.
Yeah,
And is that right or is it wrong? It depends. Like I've noticed though, when I don't, like when I drop off my meditations, if I don't do it daily, like like sometimes we need to like whip ourselves into gear, like
yeah,
to us, like there's parts where like, yeah, we can talk like everything's easy and everything's perfect and stuff like that. But sometimes like we need to hold ourselves accountable as well. And
totally.
I think that, well, I don't think I know that when I don't do it regularly, that affects me.
Mm,
Yeah. And so then I do there is a forcing energy, but I know it's forcing me into
back
more
into
of an
flow.
alignment
Yeah.
to make sure I'm doing it. Sometimes surfing's my number one thing to do, and sometimes I'm like, I don't really feel like going surfing, and I go do it. And I'm like,
Really?
what was I what was I doing? Like, I should just go surfing. But sometimes I just like, I'm not super excited or I don't have that stoke or that froth to go. But I know that once I do it and I'm in it, I'm gonna love it and it's gonna fill my cup up. So I do make myself do it. So it's like it's a funny, it's an interesting one because yeah, I guess you just need to work out what works for you. I think doing nothing is a bad strategy.
I agree. And tell me about goals, right? Limiting belief. Interesting. It's super interesting. I hadn't thought about it that way. And you did call it out the other week. What about intentions? Like, do you think are intentions the same as goals for you? Do you think intentions are like limiting beliefs as well? Or do you think, because coming out of meditation, sometimes things will pop up for me, and your surfing is like me going to a reformer class or a hot mat Pilates or a hot yoga flow. It just things just I find answers there very quickly. Like I don't even have to, it's like non-time and just things just dropping in. And I'm like, and
Mm,
so I'll come out
yeah.
of it with being more intentional about whether it's to do with life or whether it's to do with my business, whatever. Yeah. What's your view on intentions over like with goals?
Yeah. So it depends on what you mean by intentions and what you mean by goals. But what I would say in a general sense is that most goals, like smart goals or attainable, like a goal is more specific and an intention is more of a vague direction. With it seems like a goal is closed, right? The way I feel, like
Yeah.
the way I explain it is like if I want to make 100 grand a month, or maybe it's your listeners might want to make $10,000 a month. It's like I'm gonna get to this. I want to get to this goal, and but what if you like what if that was like not your like what if you're not supposed to make $10,000 a month? What if you're supposed to make like 9,500 a month and be happier and do it in a very different way? But you're fixated on this goal
Yeah.
of money, and it's just this thing, money, and there's so many other things that you're blocking that could be like way better than just money.
Mm.
And with direction, or sorry, intention, is you can intend to go down a path and it's not doesn't feel fixed for me. It feels pretty open and like, I go down this path in this direction. I don't like it. I can change direction.
Mm.
Right. Now there's that where that can get dangerous is that if you go down a direction, you change many directions too many times, it's like you're gonna get lost as well. So yeah, I think an intention is good. I try to not be too strict with intention either. I try like sometimes I've gone into specific meditations or how will you want to get on this pod, but I'll go into certain like practices and stuff like that with other people, without other people, with some enhancers and whatnot. But I'll go to things with intentions and it's like, dude, you're so far off. Like my mind is thinking of this intention, or I'm trying to like consciously think of an intention. And this conscious part has nothing to do with what you actually effing
Totally.
need
No.
right now.
Yeah.
So are you consciously thinking of an intention and it's like worthless to what like is like what's underlying and what's
Well, that's what
really
I mean.
needed?
No. It's totally we can go as well as we like. I've had so many different conversations around this recently, actually, and
Cool.
it's getting more and more interesting for me because I think it has a lot to do with business as well. In terms of we consciously think this is the way business is meant to go. Like I've written this whole big piece recently. I'm yet to put it out on Substack. It's all around identity, right? And like the more we choose, some things some things we can choose. Others we don't have a choice over in terms of, I believe, around identity. Could be to do with mental health, it could be to do with a lot of different things. And so, then so then consciously we think, oh, I've got to do it this way, I've got to behave, or I've got to do business this way. And so then, but underneath there's something else that's completely different. And so that can quite often happen in terms of, I might think that I'm going to do it this way and this is my intention. And then all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, that's completely not, it wasn't planned. And so then you add a goal layer on top of it. And like you say, it's almost like boxing it all in. It's almost like a recipe for disaster because like,
Mostly is a recipe for disaster.
and this is why, if we put it right back to businesses, this is quite often why businesses fail or they don't get to where they want to or need to get to, because a business is no different to a living, breathing human. It's biology scales business. Do you know what I mean? Like I know that's
Yes.
probably going way woo, and I'm sure a lot of listeners, although I think they're vibing on these type of conversations we're having, because we're just not. We need to be thinking about like looking at what's underneath, what's on the inside.
Yeah. What if you have a business model? You're like, I'm going forwards with this business model, and literally your clients, because you've got fixated as like, this business model can make me $1 million in recurring revenue a year.
Mm.
And this is what I need. I need $1 million recurring revenue. And that's going to fix all the other stuff in my life. We can unpack that later if we need, but that's just an example, right? Because as men, like we typically, and I was this guy that was like, this is what I need. I need this money thing, and the rest is going to be good. And that's what we do when we get into business.
Women do the same.
Yeah. Well, it's just, I guess that's what we have learned is like, okay, I heard this podcast, this YouTube video that this person did it this way. And I'm like, I've sold myself that this is the goal and this is the business model.
Mm.
But what if you want to get to 1 million recurring revenue and you're fixated on that and you already have like a business and you're doing, I don't know, 200K in recurring revenue a year, and your clients are churning very, very hard, and you're not, then the reason they're churning is because they're asking for these certain features or these certain things, and you're ignoring them because you're like, just more ads. I'm just putting more money on ads. I'm just going to chase these butterflies like there's no tomorrow, and these butterflies are all mine by
But I can't catch them.
this date, you know? Yeah. And so you're just using ads, just burning through money to chase these butterflies. But then you've got these butterflies inside your ecosystem that are like malnourished, and they're like, dude, like can you do this? It'll make the tool so much better and I won't leave. Just do that, right? And then by the time if you listened to the internal guidance system of what it's telling you, like tuned into the business and listen to your customers, they're going to grow the business for you. You don't need to do it. Like they're going to be like, boom. And then they're going to create the brand and the thing and the product that people are going to love. And then it's going to grow from the outside in and probably be even bigger than $1 million recurring revenue business just by listening to people, listening to the business and doing what it's actually telling you, doing more of what's working and less of what's not working. It's just a simpler method.
Yeah, no, I keep thinking about lately, I've been thinking about, imagine a business doing a ceremony, like a psychedelic type ceremony, like a business, like, I
Yeah.
actually probed someone on that the other week who's in that space. Like, is that a possibility? Like, could it, like, because I think, again, my brain starts to go, oh my gosh, what's possible? But just like getting down into the, consciousness of the business of,
Yeah.
I do think about that in terms of what do we need to do to, flip certain things on its head, because exactly like you're talking about. And I feels like at the moment, there's a lot of desperation out there because of the geopolitical, like everything going around in the world, cost of living here, everywhere around the world. There is like this, if I do this, and it's like, whoa, hang on a second, slow right down. And I just think that there's something bigger stirring. I can feel it, and maybe it's just me because I've been going on this journey of the formless journey in terms of, well, kind of going from one form and almost like being shapeless like water, and the ability to go, well, hang on. Anyway, there's just so much that I think there's so much opportunity to see a different form, a different way of doing business as well as living and leading.
Absolutely. Like the pressure and the energy and all of that right now in the way things are heading is you've got these big businesses with shareholders that need ROI, so they've got to make it work. Which is where I think that comes from versus like, if you don't have that pressure, like what are you worried about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big one though. Because, it's true.
It is like you just like, it's even like as simple as like societal pressure of certain things where you should achieve this by this date, or you should have a house like this or a car like this or a job like this or a partner like this and a family like this. And it's just like, you remove yourself from that. Like it's external things that we don't realize. We're not even thinking about, like that's pressure that can put us into a form of what we need. And I tell you what, I've been so formed and so structured for so much of my life. Even now I have my friends are like, oh, this Jaryd dude's so structured. Like, and I've gotten so much better, and I do have structures, but the ones that help me and stuff. But I think if you can be less attached to the outcomes,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
you are going to be.
I agree. Would that be your last piece of advice for listeners? Like in terms of, when it comes to living and being in business, there'll be a lot of entrepreneurs listening to this conversation.
What's their sort of direction? Are they business owners that are already making money, and what do they typically want?
Well,
Because that
they're business owners making money. They're also looking for what else is out there in terms of they're tired of the hustle. They're tired of the efforting.
okay,
You know, or they might already be. Some of them are already on this journey. Yeah, it comes back to this
yeah, yeah,
environment piece, doesn't it? Right, like in terms of because you can quite easily get pulled back in, and you know it's not serving you any longer.
yeah, yeah. For those business owners that are tired of working and tired of efforting and hustling, and if your goal is to make money or more money to get yourself out of that, the 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 way isn't through. Like, it's not through force. It's more about stopping right now and going, hang on, like using the inside out method, like tune in to the data, like grow your life and business from the data. What does the business like?
Mm.
What works really well in the business, and what does the business like? Do more of that and
Yeah,
do less of what's not working. You literally take the 100 grand and resources that you're going from efforting and forcing, and it might be ads, it might be something that's not working, whatever marketing strategy. And then you've got a strategy that is working here on the side very well. You take that 100 grand and put that into what's working really well and drop it off from what's not working so well. Great. That's one problem solved, fixed, so much easier, and the business is going to be happier for it. If you're also efforting, are you efforting because you mentioned identity. Identity is just a story that we tell ourselves that we want the
yeah,
world to believe who we are. You should get rid of this identity thing, like not even have one,
yeah.
and think about like, am I trying to be this business person that has all my stuff together and I'm the founder and I'm, doing it all? Like, get rid of that and just, is there somebody already in your team that can pick up some of your tasks? When you have somebody pick up your tasks and your workload, you have so much space and you have
You
so
open it
much
up.
capacity. And this is what you need. You need to take yourself out of the business and do what, forget his name. It's thinking time. He's got the book called The Road Less Stupid, Keith Cunningham. And he literally sets aside thinking time every single week to think about his business and be outside of it, right? Because you're not going to grow your business by working in your business, right? You need to
Constantly.
work on the business. We know all these quotes and things. So I've noticed in my personal life, the less I worked, the better my business did, because when I transferred from the work that I didn't like, I transferred those resources of time into something that I absolutely loved in my life, like surfing more or playing tennis and spending quality time with certain people. And so when I would take away that from like those hours in the business and convert it into something I loved, the business did so much better because I was a better leader and I was a better person.
Yeah, and you
And
weren't blocking it. You weren't blocking the energy. One final question, because I've taken up so much of your time already. It's been
that's
I've
fine.
really loved having this conversation, and we've
Likewise.
certainly been a flowy, formless conversation. You said just before, I just want your point of view on this. Focus on, and I'm ad libbing a little bit. Focus on, where I guess it's for me in a business where your energy. Notice where your energy feels its best, its highest, right? What if you know that that's where you're meant to be focusing your energy and pulling yourself away from the areas that aren't serving you as well, and yet you're not necessarily generating the revenue in that area yet. However, you do know that this is where the business is meant to flourish. It's like the butterfly. It's like the butterfly effect, right? Like
Yeah.
you're chasing over here. It's going well, although there's this bigger opportunity here.
Do you mean what if
Say that. You,
you're asking, like, what if you take your resources away from what's working because
yes,
you don't like it?
yes.
Yeah.
Into
Well, the question then becomes, why are you building something even though it's very profitable, but you hate it?
yeah, good.
It opens up something more around like, right, this business, maybe it's time to sell the business the way it is because it's better for somebody else that might like it a bit more. Take those resources and then reinvest it into something else. Like, it's not about like the business is my savior. Like, you are far more important than the business. Like, that's why these things, that's why we go, like, if we're too fixed in our mindset, it's all about the business. You're done. You're cooked. Like, you're the asset. The
Mhm.
business is not the asset. You
Mm.
are,
Yeah, so good. And this is all around reshaping and redefining what success looks like as well.
for sure.
Very cool, Jaryd. Loved this conversation. You gonna have a surf this afternoon?
No, I'm catching up with my sister-in-law and my partner, and probably surf
Nice.
tomorrow though. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. How do we find out more about you, Jaryd? Where can we get more of your NRG and all your words of wisdom on business, life, all of it? Yeah, where do we go?
Yeah. LinkedIn, Jaryd Krause, or buyingonlinebusinesses.com. And then got the podcast, the YouTube channel, all the things people can check that out.
Yes, I've got it in my show notes, so I'll be sharing that. Jaryd, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you and everything that you shared with us today. Have a
Yeah,
good
thank you.
afternoon.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for having me on. It was so fun, and I hope I didn't ramble too much and people got
No,
value.
it was awesome. It was
Yeah,
great. Thanks, Jaryd.
thanks.